Scene 42, Interior, Spiral Legislature, Day. Double doors swing open as Mozzie, an ostrich and tour guide, leads the way. Aedon catches a glimpse of Faeraud near the front of the group. Relieved to see a friend, he calls,
Faeraud! Faeraud!
Mozzie stops Faeraud, who is eating, shaking a finger.
Mush, mush, not allowed!
Before proceeding, Faeraud tosses the remainder of his breakfast sandwich over his shoulder. A yelp from behind indicates it hit someone. Prince Faeraud, with short reddish-brown hair, bumps Faeraud, pushing past with his matching fur toga and wrap. Faeraud and Faeraud move ahead of the others until Mozzie rushes in front of them, stopping everyone before they step on the...
Hold now! No one has ever set foot on this sacred seal.
Lowering her wing.
Always walk completely round the emblematic circle. It has never been touched.
Not even by a cockroach?
The first level is for observers. You can find a seat there. The more prominent a position one holds, the higher he rises.
The group turns toward the ceiling, where we see the outer floor spirals upward a dozen levels, lined with desks. Aedon shades his eyes when a spot of sun glints from the glass dome overhead. Stepping on Faeraud's toe with a crunch, Faeraud remarks,
I'll be comfortably resting in one of those top-level stations before you, Prince Faeraud.
Evad. I'd wager that there aren't enough favors you could do to get halfway up there.
None of us could ever make it that far.
Only the Etruscans and the Prince Lord Lamech sit at the very top, Aedon.
Lamech sits up there? If we were close enough, maybe we could get him to allow my father to come home.
I'm a direct descendant, the only son of Astrucci and Evamon. You diluted offspring will be lucky to ever make it past level 2.
Faeraud snorts with a huff as Mozzie passes by.
Now, no newbie has ever made it past level 2 during their first sun cycle.
Hey, Evad! Bet you I'll be on level 3 by noon.
The three boys race up the spiral ramp until they reach a level 2 indicator, blocking the way. Struggling for the highest desk on level 1, Faeraud wiggles his fanny into the seat. Faeraud reluctantly takes the next. Faeraud positions his fur wrap on the table.
Coveting my fur already? It can be cold down there.
Fox furs. Expensive taste.
I am in charge of the fur factories in my province.
I've heard about the scalping methods you use to obtain those.
These are shaved hairs with mayapple binding, and shimmered with a special process I personally developed.
Just let him gloat, will ya?
I'm going to get up there. For you, Aedon.
To Faeraud.
I'll wager your little furs and 10 more just like it that I'll be on a seat higher than you before the 5th meal tonight.
And when you lose, Faeraud, what will be my prize?
Looking over the balcony rail, an idea.
I never lose. But if I do, I'll walk across the sacred emblem.
Barefooted?
In front of the whole watching and steering council, if you want.
Everyone's attention is turned upward as the Etruscans parade in and find their seats. Other members quickly fill stations.
Let the law-making session begin.
A gong reverberates, and a series of shots. Spiral legislature, voting. Various transglossed, holographic images appear above each person's table as presenters propose new laws.
The first measure of voting is to increase the tariff on rice by 1 coin per 1,000 minya.
Faeraud pulls his no lever back.
I propose the excess funds be used to purchase more sky harvesters. The idle farmers could then be trained as warriors.
Faeraud thrusts his yes lever forward. Yes votes are indicated by a person's station moving slightly forward with a green glow. On a no vote, it slides back with a red glow. After each tally of votes, stations are thrust out into the open space. They hover momentarily, then switch around, finding a new position and reinserting. Faeraud's and Faeraud's stations alternately move higher up the spiral as the pace of voting increases.
A measure to allow tobacco twigs.
Proposal to ban square wheels.
A vote for unicorn equality.
Referendum validating
To
the
move
law.
responsibility from the
Tax
Astarians.
on luxury for...
Interior, spiral legislature, main floor. The gong rings, and everyone settles back into their seats. Faeraud leans over the rail of his station on level 5, looking down toward Aedon. Hurrying down the ramp, Faeraud catches up to the escaping Aedon. The two meet where Aedon steps from his box.
Someone owes me 10 furs.
There is a wise old enchantment from my homeland. Fetch what you want, have not if you can't.
Faeraud, turning to Aedon.
Then a trip to the fur factory of Evamon is in order.
Heavyman, it's freezing down there.
You'll enjoy the ambitious tundra of voles. Most of them don't bite.
Faeraud's high-pitched laugh merges into the noise of a... Exterior, tundra, evening. A transporter sits down on a patch of dirt. A dusting of snow powders the tops of an endless field of mayapple plants. Far beyond a nearby stream, rich vineyards rise.
Toward the right, I believe is your father's vineyard. On the horizon.
They stretch this far?
Don't believe for a moment that Aedon makes these furs legally. We'll find a violation here, or else create one.
Aedon and Faeraud climb out of the vehicle. Pulling their togas tightly, they fight the wind.
The more you know about what's inside the enemy's camp, the easier it will be to find a weakness.
Enemy? He's but an educatory mate.
Beyond, unnoticed by them, Faeraud converses with a vole. Interior, Tundraville, factory. The door blows shut behind Aedon and Faeraud. They don't notice. Instead, they are overwhelmed by the spools of thread, turning, leading to hundreds of working looms. Click, clack. Voles alternate on teeter-totters which power them. A VV sound turns to a yelp when Faeraud steps forward, almost pinning the tail of a tundra vole. Looking down, he sees a parade of voles, carrying bundles of mayapple plants above their heads, marching toward a black room.
Rats!
Magua, a white vole, jumps up on an overturned spool.
Rats? We are tundra voles, not rats. I am your guide, Magua.
Next to them are stations with lines of animals waiting. 6 barbers cut the fur off each beast lying before him.
The hibernation season is just ending, and most animals are eager to get their summer fur cut.
Must be a front. Certainly you can't expect us to believe that none of the animals have ever been hurt by the process.
Not one of my voles has ever been injured.
I wasn't referring to the voles.
A burst of steam turns their attention to another room.
The carroting vats. I'm not in charge of those.
Perhaps we should have a peek.
Breathing the air in one of those chambers has been known to disturb the mind of more than one vole I know.
Aedon, let's have a check. Certainly, we're immune to the measure that would do in a vole.
Aedon hesitates while Faeraud ventures into the room.
I wouldn't want to be responsible for ruining your holiday.
When a burst of reddish steam pushes from its doorway, Aedon decides to stay back.